I grew up in a Christian home in the Central Valley. I went to a Christian church and a Christian school since preschool. As I got to high school, middle school, high school, I started being more involved with sports like swimming, and that started to just become my main focus. I kind of just saw God as a person that I could talk to. Didn't really think too much about how much control He has in our lives. When I was in high school, I was bullied quite a bit. I felt like I was just being a burden to others. Whenever I was around people, I was always just keeping to myself. I was antisocial. I always sought out privacy for myself rather than making friends or just hanging out with people. I was always lonely in that. As I got to junior college, I was on the swim team, and I had a lot of great friends on there, but they had a lot of different beliefs, atheistic beliefs, a lot of beliefs that kind of just turned me away from God, and I started making excuses to not be involved in church. I kind of just shied God away. I always just kind of feared if God was really there, all these bad things that are happening to me or all these things that I'm thinking about wouldn't even happen. As I transferred out of junior college and I started moving away from my parents, and I had a lot of freedom to do whatever I want. I went out partying. I tried to fit in with other groups in Chico. Even though I was trying to be more outgoing, I still felt empty inside. I felt there was a need for something more in my life. As I started to try and fill that void with drinking and smoking, and I was still kind of just feeling empty, and I would always just lock myself up in my own room and just be by myself. As a result of that, there was one time I was just trying to find a club or a people group that I could fit in with, and my parents messaged me about a club called Challenge, and they happened to be meeting on Tuesday at the BMU, which was where I first went to Challenge. It's funny because I showed up late. I was kind of in the middle of a message. I was approached by a guy named Noah, and I got to know him a lot more, and he asked if he could meet with me. From that point on, I kind of just realized that I have a need for God to be back in my life. It's really important. It would definitely fill that void in my life. So after Noah approached me, he asked if I could meet up with him at a pizza place. He brought his friend Marcus, who discipled me for a little while. They asked a bunch of questions, which gave me a lot of thought to, am I really following God? One of the questions that they asked is what is your percentage chance of going to heaven? Even though I knew that Jesus died on the cross for my sins, I still feel like I didn't deserve to go to heaven. With all the mistakes that I made, all the times that I've sinned in my life, I felt like I didn't deserve it. Noah reassured me, it's you believe that Jesus died on the cross for you, but I believe that you have a 100% assurance of going to heaven. And from right then and there, I realized that I needed to turn my life around and turn it back to Christ. And that's when I prayed to receive Christ right then and there. It was helpful. It was fulfilling in my life. As I started to plug myself into Challenge, I've realized how important fellowship is. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another. And I realized the importance behind that because it helps with accountability and just growing in your faith, not just by yourself, but other believers right by your side. And another thing I've learned was just servitude. I've done a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like hauling chairs over to campus, equipment for sound and for the band. Even though that kind of goes unnoticed sometimes, it's amazing to see how that can advance the kingdom of God. And it's such a blessing to see the new believers that come in to Challenge, or to see them commit their lives to Christ. That really is the basis of that, and I've learned to enjoy that. After this, I have the opportunity to plug into another church, to share with others what I've learned from Challenge, and my next step is to I see where God takes me with my major, with working in a job, starting a new family. I'm really excited, and I have a lot of faith that God is going to use my life to help others around me, or to play a part in His kingdom. And it's worth it. Like, after I die, knowing that I've helped so many people around, like, it's worth living for, and it's worth dying for.